Hey everyone, Hannah here for Social Women's Studies 446, week 3. So this week we're talking about unpacking privilege. In the past few years, maybe 5 years even now, privilege, and specifically white privilege, has sort of been adopted by mainstream culture. And so you hear people talking about it a lot. It's kind of a buzzword, if you will. And so I imagine a lot of you have some inkling of what the term means, even if you've never discussed it in a class before. But the reason why I incorporate this topic into my 446 class, especially early on in the semester, is because it's really important to think about privilege and oppression and how those things and power structures influence social institutions in order to think about power dynamics as they relate to gender-based violence. And so in particular, in my research, which I write about on La Lima, I'm thinking a lot about gender-based violence and crimes of that nature that often don't enter the criminal system. The reason being that when someone with a lot of power and privilege perpetrates a gender-based violence crime, such as intimate partner violence or sexual assault, often it doesn't hit the criminal system. And so if we think about high-profile cases like a Brock Turner or someone like that who is very wealthy, well-connected, part of a fraternity. Maybe they have social capital because they're a well-known college athlete, and because we also see high-profile sexual assaults on college campuses of that nature as well. And these men who are perpetuating these crimes that are very gendered, they often never enter the criminal system because of power and privilege and the way that those power dynamics play out in social institutions such as higher education. And so you can't just think about gender-based violence as something that operates in a vacuum, right? So we know that race, class, gender, sexual orientation, gender presentation, and all these other aspects of our identities really influence and impact how gender-based violence plays out. Even something as simple as how we as a society imagine what a, quote, good victim looks like, that's very steeped in notions of gender and race and class and things of that nature, right? Similarly, the way we understand people who perpetrate gender-based violence and really all crimes is also very much influenced by race and gender and class and other aspects of identity. So when we talk about gender-based violence happening and we think about the different ways that it plays out throughout the life course, we also have to think about these other identity factors because, like I said, gender-based violence does not occur in a vacuum. There are other factors at play. And so to give some context and some socio-political landscape, I tried to relate this week's topic of privilege to my own research that's on Title IX and gender-based violence on college campuses. And I hope that allows you to have more concrete understandings of some of the theory and terminology we're learning, because as college students, you all are experts on the college experience, right? And what it means to be a college student and to observe or witness gender-based violence in these contexts where the behavior often never hits the criminal system. And so as sociologists and criminologists and women's studies scholars, we need to be thinking about those things. As far as assignments this week, we're in week 3, which starts on June 7th. So your first short paper, which is a reflection paper, is due Friday at 11:55 p.m. And then you also need to complete discussion board 3 at that same time, so Friday at 11:55 p.m. And then you also need to respond to one of your classmates in the discussion board forum by Sunday at 11:55 p.m. I know that's a lot, but we are in a 6-week fast-paced summer session class. To try and mitigate some of that burden, I did only assign 1 reading this week, so I hope that helps. And then, of course, as always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me at hannahli@hawaii.edu. And I look forward to reading your first papers shortly. I will provide feedback to you folks as soon as I can. That's part of the writing intensive component of this class. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great week, and I enjoy reading your discussion boards and your papers. Aloha.